Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to The Gimme. Why The Gimme? Because it's good. That's why. I'm Jason Sobel from GolfBet, joined, as always, by my man, Peter Jennings. How you doing, Peter?
Doing great. Excited for another week of golf here.
And our newest colleague, Amanda Rose. So excited to have you on the show for the first time, Amanda. You ready for this?
Oh my gosh, I was muted. I'm good. Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh, what a start. What a debut right there. I was muted. Oh, can only get better from here. Well, let's get right into it. This week's event, week 2 of the Dublin Double, Dublin, Ohio, Muirfield Village, which hosted last week's Workday Charity Open, but expected to get faster, firmer, more fiery this week for the Memorial Tournament. I can't wait. This almost feels like a mini major. In fact, it's the best PGA Tour field that we've ever had at a non-major, non-players, or non-WGC event. Big field this week, but of course, let's start right off the top with Tiger. And we've got so many good Tiger bets out there. In fact, great report by Darren Ravel of the Action Network, our colleague, earlier today said there's a lot of liability in the books on Tiger. In fact, most of the handle, the biggest handle right now, is on Tiger Woods, but not in Vegas right now. Peter, are you bullish on Tiger this week? And if not, where are you thinking? What's your favorite Tiger bet this week?
I'm not bullish on Tiger relative to the market. I think there's a huge Tiger tax, and of course, rooting for him. He's everyone's favorite golfer to root for. But I'm finding value betting against him for the exact reason that you just mentioned. I think the book is shading odds towards Tiger because of all the liability. So my favorite bet of the week is actually Rory Mcilroy over Tiger Woods in a matchup. Line's moved a little bit, but I think there's a ton of value getting the best player in the world versus Tiger, who we haven't seen in competitive golf in a long time.
Amanda, are you muted still, or would you like to talk this time?
I am not muted. I got to put my CEO hat on, my CEO sunglasses for this big old Tiger bet I have here. He's 60-1 for a bogey-free round at Muirfield. However, he hasn't done that since 2005. So I think of all the Tiger prop bets, that might be the best one to get on. I don't know. I don't really like any of the other odds. So that's kind of my pick for the Tiger bets this week.
For the first round, or just going across the board?
For any round. I think it was just any round. He has to be bogey-free, and he's good.
All right, Tiger, bogey-free for any round. I've got it scripted out this week, guys. I feel like we've seen this movie before. I've got Tiger first round, just throwing jabs a little bit, seeing what the course has. You can't win it on Thursday. You can only lose it, so don't try to lose it on the first round. I got like a 1 under 71. Second day, play a little more aggressively. It's going to help in times. It's going to hurt at times, but maybe a 70, maybe even 69. Safely inside the cut line, gets it to the weekend. Saturday goes way low. The whole place, even without fans at Muirfield Village, they start buzzing, and everyone's talking about Tiger, maybe 64, 65. Everything's working for him, gets into contention, an outside shot at winning this thing, but comes up short. I have it something around a T9 like he finished a year ago. I didn't want to bet him top 10. I'm going to go top 20. I'm going to play it a little conservative, but I do think it will be a pretty good week for Tiger Woods. And speaking of Tiger, he's going to be in the featured groups tomorrow. You want to catch PGA Tour Live starting early, 6:45 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday morning. You can catch the 4 featured groups. You'll have to wait a little while to see Tiger, but a bevy of stars. As I mentioned earlier, we've got so many good players in the field this week. And guys, 3-ball betting, it's a fun way for those who aren't necessarily into gambling that much. You're just getting into it now. For those who are seasoned gamblers and love doing it and want some action before the sun even rises, you want to get into some early betting. And Peter, as you always mention, the PGA Tour Live telecast at least gives you every shot from all 12 of these golfers. So as we get into 3 of a kind here, let's kick it off with the 8:06 tee time. Colin Morikawa, last week's champion. Bryson DeChambeau, the champion from 2 weeks ago. Patrick Cantlay, the champion of the Memorial Tournament last year. They got a lot of trophies to talk about. Peter, which one are you going to pick out to bet on in this one?
Definitely Colin Morikawa for me in this group. Bryson's coming in with great form off a win, but he's getting a ton of respect in the market. It's kind of in that favorite range. So I'll take some value on Colin Morikawa, who's coming off a win himself at the same place. And I just think Colin Morikawa sets up really well at this course with his fade and his elite ball striking.
Amanda, who do you got in this one?
I actually like Bryson. I know Morikawa just won last week, but Bryson's won here in the past. And not only that, I mean, Tiger said he was hitting it pretty well on Tuesday during the practice round. So I think Bryson will have that advantage where he can hit irons and just shorter clubs off the tee, keep himself in play. And I think if he can just get his putting going, I really think Bryson has a chance.
You see, this is what I love, because we don't need no stinking sports book. We got all three of us taking a different player in this group. I'm going Patrick Cantlay straight off a 65 in the final round on Sunday. And in his three previous opening rounds at Muirfield Village is a combined 9 under par. So I'm all over Cantlay this week in general, and I really like him in the first round. Let's get to that 8:17 tee time, a.m. Eastern time. Justin Thomas, who came so close losing in the playoff last week. Xander Schauffele, who I'm going to tell you about a little bit later, because I like Xander this week. And Dustin Johnson, who won in his last start in Hartford a few weeks ago. Start with Amanda. Where are you going, Amanda, on this one?
I'm going JT. He has that fire in his belly. He just lost that playoff. I mean, for goodness sake, Jack Nicklaus thought he won it. So I think he has a lot to prove this week. Like I said, he's got the fire in his belly. I think he's peaking in form, and I like JT this week.
It was a great story. In case you missed it, Jack Nicklaus sent a text as his plane was taking off, seeing Justin Thomas make that 50-foot birdie putt on the first playoff hole. Said, congratulations, you can go for 2 in a row next week. They got up to 10,000 feet. The Wi-Fi turned on. Jack said, oh my goodness, he didn't win, and had to send him a text saying, oops. I think anybody else would have been blocked from JT's phone except for the GOAT. I'm with you, Amanda. I like JT in this one. Most players, when they get mad, whether it's internally or externally, they seem to lose some tempo, lose some rhythm. JT is a guy that I think he's one of the best mad golfers in the world. When he gets angry, he tends to play better. I think it's going to help him. I like him in the first round. Peter, where are you going on this one? JT, Schauffele, DJ.
Another tough group, but I'm with you guys. I'm on JT as well. I actually think JT is my favorite. If I had to pick one golfer to win this week, he's at the top of my board. So like JT here, and should be really fun. This is 3 of the best golfers in the world in this group.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some other really good golfers as we continue in the featured groups. 1:06 p.m. Eastern time. Shane Lowry should be defending a title. I bet if you had asked Shane Lowry a year ago, hey, where are you going to be in exactly a year? He wouldn't have thought Ohio, but he is in Ohio to defend his Open Championship this week, as strange as that sounds. Phil Mickelson, always fun to watch, of course, and Justin Rose, who's really been struggling. Anyone want to take a chance on Rose, Peter?
Not taking a chance on Rose. I would go Lowry in this group. I think you're getting a little bit of value. Mickelson's very volatile, so Shane Lowry to me at that price represents the value in this 3-ball.
Amanda?
I'm going with Shane also. Methinks it's a home game. He's in Dublin, Ohio. So I do like Shane Lowry. And like we said in the podcast earlier this week, he has this form this week of the year. Why not carry it over this year?
Now we need the sports book, because we're all 3 on the same page on this one. I love Shane Lowry this week. In fact, I think if you're going to do a course comparison, because I do think that Muirfield Village is going to play tougher this week than it usually does, I'm looking back to 4 years ago. Oakmont for the U.S. Open. Dustin Johnson was your winner. Shane Lowry was one of those guys who finished in second place. If you want to look at another one, Firestone, which usually played around the same time of year in summer, back when it held the Bridgestone Invitational. Shane Lowry won that 5 years ago. Also shot a 69 on Sunday at this golf course. I just like Shane Lowry this week, so I'm in on that one. And the last of the featured groups, last but not least, this one got 4 flame emojis on my tweet when the featured groups came out. 1:17 p.m. Eastern time. Some guy named Tiger Woods. I'm not sure how he got into this one, but he's going to be playing with Brooks Koepka and Rory McIlroy. Peter, where are you going in this one?
So out of all the 4 groups, I think the first 3, it's tough to find definitive value. This one actually screams bet to me. I'm going Rory here. You have the Tiger tax. You have Koepka, who a lot of people are on this week. So I think you get Rory, who's kind of coming in a little under the radar. I mentioned JT is my number one golfer this week. He has a little bit of a weather edge over Rory, but the best player in the world right now is still Rory McIlroy, and you're getting a good price on him relatively, considering he's up against Tiger and Brooks. So I love Rory, and that's my favorite bet of the 4 featured groups.
All right, Amanda, agree or disagree with Peter?
Hate to agree with CSU Ram 88, but I'm going to agree there. Rory, I do think he is, best player in the world. He might be number 2 in the rankings, but he's still in great form. And he just, I don't know. I feel Rory because, Brooks isn't someone that comes out of the gate on Thursday shooting a 65. He'll shoot that 65 on Saturday and Sunday, but he's not going to do it on a Thursday. Tiger, who knows? We haven't seen him in 5 months. So I really, really like this Rory pick.
I'm with you guys, and I hate to do it, but Rory McIlroy actually owns the low round 1 score at the Memorial Tournament, shot 63 back in 2014. He's been playing well on Thursdays coming in, and I love the fact that he's been working with Coach Michael Bannon over the last few weeks, really gearing up for this one. 4 top 10s at this tournament in the past for Rory. I would skip over that miscut from last year. I think he's going to bring something this week, and I like him in the opening round. All right, next segment, let's get to our ultimate DFS lineup. We do this on the podcast every week. In fact, if you didn't catch it on the podcast, you got to listen to our Action Network podcast, the Golf Edition. We record every Monday night. It'll be up there by first thing Tuesday morning when you wake up, but we're going to give you a little taste of it right now, and we're going to go through with our lineup. And because you're new, because you're our new colleague, we wanted to get you involved early. So, Amanda, you had the first pick this week. Where did you go with this one?
Give me 1 second. My computer totally froze. Okay, Shane Lowry, my Dublin Angel. I have him as our first pick. Again, I think he's going to do great. And I just wanted to touch on, Rory McIlroy in 2014, he won the Open this week in 2014. So I think he also has some good vibes this week of the year.
Shane Lowry at 7,200 on DraftKings. I love the fact that, first of all, Amanda's taking a guy that I really like this week. Secondly, she's saving us some money, Peter. So you're up next. You going to spend some money for us?
I spent some money, and you're getting the best price you'll ever see on Jon Rahm on DraftKings. I wish he was teeing off in the morning, but still feel really good about Jon Rahm. Looked good today in the little 9-hole expedition that they did for charity. Jon Rahm is way too good to be priced below 10,000. I still think he's one of the top 2 or 3 players in the world, and he's a screaming value at this price on DraftKings.
By the way, if ownership percentages weren't already going to be pretty high on Jon Rahm and Tony Finau, after that 9-hole exhibition on Wednesday afternoon, just rockets, because both of them looked really, really strong. So I had the third pick, and I went with a guy who I'm hoping this course bakes out and plays fast and firm like we've heard it might, because I think it really plays to his strength, and that's Abraham Answer, who isn't the longest guy out there, but certainly a great ball striker. Any guy that can hit 18 of 18 greens in regulation during the final round at Harbor Town when he's in contention, he gets a lot of looks from me, and I'm going to take him at 8,500. Amanda, we've got some money to spend, but you didn't want to spend the money in this lineup, did you?
Well, it's $6,900. 1, you can't ignore that number. And 2, it's Brendon Todd. This guy dominated the fall series. He's played pretty well during the COVID. What did we decide to call it? The COVID swing or whatever. Sure. So, he played well 2-3 weeks ago. He didn't have a great Sunday, but I think his form is there. He really hasn't come out of that form from when he won in Bermuda and the other championship he won in the fall series. So I like Brendon Todd, and at $6,900. You really can't beat that because he's almost like a guaranteed top 20. Most weeks, he's top 30, top 20. So
a guaranteed top 20.
Okay, I didn't mean to say that. That was a little much, but
okay. Well, we guarantee he'll be there. That's the guarantee. Peter, you're not going to spend a whole lot of our money again, are you?
I'm going to spend it all right here. I like the Todd pick quite a bit. He's been very accurate, so I think getting someone who's going to find a lot of fairways, which has been his strength, is a really good pick by Amanda. I'm going Rory, and I've mentioned Rory a lot already. Coming in, his odds are actually below JT, kind of in the same range as Bryson DeChambeau. We saw one of the most historic years last year from Rory. He's been so consistent. Basically every other tournament, he was a top 5 finisher last season. And I think he's motivated again. He talked about the lack of focus. I love Rory in all formats, betting, DFS. I feel really good about getting Rory and Rahm in this lineup.
Petey, you're spending our money like you're trying to fill that closet with more Jordans back there. You're not leaving a whole lot left, but we did have some money on the board. It's 7,200 with the last pick. Filled out the last spot in the lineup with Keegan Bradley. And okay, we all know Keegan, maybe not the greatest putter in the world, but friend of the Action Network podcast. We had him on not that long ago, and he was fantastic. And he is a tremendous ball striker. And if that ball striking is good this week, this could be a very good lineup. Going through it once again, Shane Lowry, John Rahm, Abraham Answer, Brendon Todd, Rory Mcilroy, Keegan Bradley. I told you guys on the pod on Monday night that my confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10 was about a 5. I'm up to about 8.5 right now. I feel way better about this than I did a few days ago. How do you guys feel about this lineup?
I love it. I think we're in good shape, but I think every lineup on DraftKings looks really good. So.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Let's get to our next segment called the Perfect Portfolio. Here's how it works. Our bosses, Peter, gave us $100 to spend on bets this week, and this is for all the veteran employees, I guess. Amanda, what do you have?
I have some $2 bills over here. I didn't quite get that kind of compensation. I'm very new, guys.
Oh, you should have held out for a better signing bonus. Come on. I would have Venmoed you something if I had known. I would have shared with you. Now, we want to make the point for those out there that, okay, some people bet high stakes, some people bet, kind of medium, and some people bet lower stakes, and that's what Amanda's doing. That's okay. Look, we want everybody included. I don't care if you're betting $1 million or if you're betting $1. Betting on golf at least makes you a better fan, gets you more invested, gets you more engaged in the product on a daily and weekly basis. So we love it no matter the monetary value. And we're just having some fun with it right now. So Peter, let's kick it off with you. You've got $100 to spend this week. Where's that bill going?
All right. My fun coupon. I feel really good about this week and the bets that I have. Like I mentioned off the top, my favorite bet against Tiger is Rory McIlroy in a matchup over him. I got it at minus 159. It's around minus 160 right now. I'm going to use 30 of my $100 on this bet. I'm trying to grind it out. I'm going to bet a lot of matchups. I'm going to take some shorter odds stuff. I'm not just swinging for the fences here. And I think this is one of the best values on the board. Rooting for Tiger Woods, but there's a lot of value in betting against him, given all of the liability that the books have. They're pricing things nicely to go against Tiger Woods. So feel really good about that matchup. The next bet I have is Jim Furyk, T20 at plus 500. Jim Furyk missed the cut on the number last week, which was devastating. I had a lot of exposure to him, but played really well on Friday. Got up and down on 17 from a tough spot and really put himself in a lot of good positions. And a really great stat on Jim Furyk. He's leading the freaking PGA Tour in driving accuracy. He's 50 years old. I mean, I know that's Jim Furyk, but yeah, I'm going with Jim Furyk as a top 20 bet.
I like that a lot. Jim Furyk's a guy who obviously can find the fairways, as you mentioned, but Jim Furyk sort of got this renewed passion towards the game. You don't see a whole lot of Ryder Cup captains come back from dealing with the Ryder Cup, dealing with the team members, dealing with everything that they put into it, and actually play decent golf afterwards. But Jim Furyk is doing exactly that. Okay, Amanda, I guess we gave you $10, some $2 bills. They're real though. You can gamble with them. So what are you doing here with your money? Where are you going with your perfect portfolio for the week?
So I'm going to do something crazy. 40% of my money is going to go towards Viktor Hovland. I think he's so close. We saw on Twitter earlier today, I believe it was Jonathan Wally posted a picture of Hovland's new irons this week, his new ping irons that he's going to be using to play better on fast firm courses and stuff. So I think that'll be interesting to see the equipment change in there. 25 to 1 for $4. I mean, I really can't beat that. The next bet I have I have 3 guys for top 10s. I'm going to put $2 on Rahm, Sepp Straka, and Scott Harrington. Rahm, if he doesn't finish top 10, I'll be pretty disappointed. But Sepp Straka played really well last week. He was really close to finishing top 10, making me some money. And then Scott Harrington is one of my just favorite guys on the tour. Like, he's just so close to doing something big. And at 500 to 1 or 50 to plus 5,000, I'm new. I just, for a top 10, I mean, $1 is going to make me, over 100. So why not do it or something? I can't
I want to go back to something you said there, Amanda. Viktor Hovland, who I believe has led the field in strokes gained, approach shots, and ball striking over the last 3 weeks, and then changing out his irons. How do we feel about that? Do we feel like everything's going to get dialed in even better and he's going to start hitting them better? Or is this a case of trying to do too much and overthinking things?
I think he spent 4 hours testing him today. So I think, or today or yesterday. So I think he's going to do great. And if he knows, the course is going to play pretty firm, he's getting himself in an equipment change to, I guess, benefit and continue to lead in strokes gained approach and whatnot. So I think it'll be okay. And he's so young that I think he just kind of plays without fear. He still has that just, I'm so good, I'm going to swing it, I'm going to make contact. And I think the irons are going to be a good thing. He's just such a goofball. I don't know. I like it. I like the play though.
Speaking of changing things out, I know John Rahm's changed some things with his clubs last week, and wasn't the greatest week for him, but a final round 64, bringing a lot of momentum into this week, and you have Rahm as well. So really like that play. I'm splitting mine up. I'm cutting this thing up into 4 different sections. I think that's how you do it, right? I'm not sure how you bet with $100, but Xander Schauffele, I mentioned him early, just sort of tangentially, but he is my favorite outright this week. He has been bet a lot because he started the week at right around 33-1. I'm not sure you can get him for better than 25-1 now. So there are a lot of bets, including one, I believe at Superbook USA. There was a $1,000 bet, or actually $10,000 bet on Xander Schauffele already this week. So if that guy wins, I'm going to win as well. So hoping we both get Xander. Really like him. I can't believe it's been a year and a half since his last PGA Tour victory. And then splitting the rest of it with 3 top 10s. The first one, I'm being super conservative. I know that you got to spend money to make money, so you should probably be spending a little more. But Bryson DeChambeau for a top 10 this week. Hey, at some point, it just happens every single week. 7 consecutive top 10s for Bryson. If you're looking for something out there that's as much of a sure thing as you can find, Bryson finishing in the top 10 pretty much qualifies. And then 2 of my favorite guys to bet on out there. I get it. They have a combined 1 career PGA Tour victory at an alternate field event 4 years ago. But Tony Finau and Abraham Answer are both knocking on the door at some point. One or both of these guys is going to win a PGA Tour event. Could be a bigger one. I look at Bryson from 2 years ago, Patrick Cantlay from last year, both young, really good players who sort of needed a big event win to kind of step up a little bit. And I think Answer and Finau are each that type of player that could go out and win this golf tournament and increase their profile a little bit. So that is our perfect portfolio this week. Now let's get to our bad bets. Amanda, bad bets?
Bad bets. What you gonna do? You're gonna lose money. That's what you're gonna do.
That's what you're gonna do. We asked for your worst bets on Twitter, and guess what? We've got a giveaway. So even the worst bet out there, you're gonna win something this week. You are gonna win this very handsome golf bet hat. And in fact, this might be the only golf bet hat that is out there yet. So you're going after number 2. I somehow got a hold of one. I'm not sure how. Credit to our producer, Evan Abrams, I think. But I got a golf bet hat, and now we're starting to sell them in the Action Network store. So they are out there. Amanda, we asked on Twitter for the worst bets, not your worst bet last week, not the worst bet you've ever made, but the worst bet you've put money on for this week's tournament that hasn't started yet. And you got some great answers. Why don't you take us through them?
I do. So we're going to start with our runner-up. It's going to be at Big Philly Cat. Puts $30 on Maverick McNeely to win at like $7,000 every single week. Now, I like this guy's tenacity, but it's a little insane.
At some point, Matt McNeely is going to win a PGA Tour event. So I guess if you do it every week, then maybe you come out on the plus side, Peter. Is that how that works?
At the same number, I've actually been a little bearish on McNeely relative to the market, but he has a lot of prestige, especially as an amateur. So I like being disciplined. I mean, there's nothing worse than having an outright on the same golfer over and over and again than getting off that train and then watching that player win. So I like the consistency, but that's not a bet I would be making.
That's exactly how I feel about Finau and Answer, who I both just spoke about. If I didn't take him this week, well, I'd be kicking myself on Sunday afternoon if it does indeed happen. Okay, Amanda, that was the runner-up. Drum roll here. What is the worst bet that we've seen so far this week?
From at at JR Hardy 84. He tweeted our buddy CSU Ram 88. He said Tiger hole-in-one, 100 to 1, hashtag YOLO. In which I say hashtag no. For 100 to 1, that's no. You're not even going to win $1. No.
Okay. All right. So
Maybe
a few things. First of all, how is that only 100 to 1? That should be 1,000 to 1 bet.
And he hasn't done it since 2005.
Yes, and not in competition since even before that. So let me take you through a little Tiger Woods hole-in-one history. Back in his first career start, the Greater Milwaukee Open, 1996, made one. You know, hey, first career start as a professional, ball goes in the hole. I don't know. Okay, this is easy. Goes out there a year later. The video we've seen from Phoenix, the 16th hole, a bazillion times, everyone throws their beer in the air, and Tiger basically kind of created that hole and that environment. And that was his second hole-in-one on the PGA Tour. The third one, and this is one of my favorite stories, Castle Pines, right near where you live, Peter, of course you know well, made a hole-in-one there in 1998. You know why you've never seen it? There were no cameras rolling. The cameramen were on their lunch break. So they don't have any video of that one from 98. But Peter, you've got a Tiger Woods hole-in-one story. Even though there aren't very many Tiger aces out there, you've got a story, don't you?
Yeah, I played the Pro-Am with him this year at Riviera, and we're on hole 6. And, of course, Tiger hits a ball to 2 inches and comes down and says, you know what? It's crazy. I didn't have a hole-in-one from 2000 to 2010, which is just absolutely insane. A golfer, that's literally the best 10 years of golf that we've ever seen. Tiger Woods, just an unreal iron player, the best of all time. And during the peak of his powers, didn't have a hole-in-one. And now this guy is making a bet that he's going to get a hole-in-one this week at 100 to 1 odds. I mean, you never want to bet the hole-in-one stuff. And at that price, I just wouldn't touch it. So if you could make a hole-in-one, then it's going to be a much longer odds than 100 to 1, where I'd feel comfortable betting Tiger to make a hole-in-one this week. All
right. Well, whether Tiger makes a hole-in-one or not, you are going to win this hat for that bet. So that might have been a good bet. I mean, you know what? If you put $5 on that bet and you win a hat that costs more than $5, that might have been the best bet you made all week. So you know what? Sometimes some of these people, they can outsmart us a little bit too. I love that bet. That is now a winning bet. That's a bad bet. It's a winning bet. Guys, we've got about 2 minutes left here. I want to go through just one name from each of you guys that we haven't mentioned on the show yet, of a player that you say, you know what, just maybe that guy this week. And it could be kind of an under the radar player. Peter, one name that we have not mentioned yet that you're kind of looking at this week.
Well, you mentioned it on the podcast, and you've told this story a couple times about Ryan Moore, who I think sets up well at this course. You told a story that you asked him at a Super Bowl party where you should take Ryan Moore if you're going to take him in one place. And he said here at Jack's place for Memorial. So I think Ryan Moore, doesn't have the firepower, not the longest guy out there, but has won a lot of golf tournaments, especially when he was young. And I think Ryan Moore certainly can compete here. And he's a great DFS price and someone I'm looking at in the top 20, top 30, top 40 markets.
Amanda, give us a name.
I am going to go the male route and say JT Poston.
Oh,
I like JT Poston. Yes. He hasn't been playing phenomenally, but he hasn't been playing terribly. And I think just with his game, he seems to play well at these like tighter, more difficult courses. So I like Poston.
I like that. JT Poston has one of the coolest wedge stampings right now that I've ever seen. If you go on social media, it's literally a postal truck. And does it say, Amanda, the postman on there? Or does it say mail?
So.
It's maybe just a mail truck. It says mail, but he is the postman. So I love that. I mean, some of these wedge stampings they're doing now are fantastic.
Shout out to Benny Hahn. Shout out to Benny, his stamp. And that's another guy that I'll just briefly mention. I like Benny this week. I know he can't putt. He has it on his wedge that he can't putt, but I think he's a really good play this week. He's one of the best ball strikers out there.
I'll throw one more out there for you. I mentioned the course comps between Oakmont and Firestone back in 2016. Dustin Johnson won each of those events. Scott Piercy was second at both of those events. Haven't heard any Scott Piercy talk this week. He's a guy who's a really good ball striker, doesn't putt the ball great, but maybe, just maybe, if this course does indeed play like a major championship or at least like a WGC, maybe like a mini US Open, I'm kind of liking Scott Piercy. I do have a top 5 bet for him this week, and I've also got him in a bunch of DFS lineups. So thanks so much to everybody for watching. We are The Gimme. Why The Gimme? Because, as always, it's good. For Peter Jennings, for our newest colleague, Amanda Rose, I'm Jason Sobel. Thanks so much for watching us tonight on The Gimme. And here's hope all your bets hit the green this week.